That Ford van was really cool and fun. We had a great time with it. Both of my kids were probably conceived in that thing. My name is Ron Cambra. I own Cambra Speed Shop here. I started this about 9 years ago, and what I do is run the business. I don't have the fun of being out in the shop anymore with the guys because we're just too darn busy. So I do all the paperwork and just run the day-to-day base, of what we do here. Yeah, I started here in the shop again 9 years ago. I was doing this as a hobby out of my backyard here in Orange. I built a few cars out of there and went to some shows and just got a lot of requests to do work and build and paint and do stuff. And now we're branched out into about 13,000 square feet here in this complex. I started into cars at a very young age. I had an older brother that was into cars. I had three brothers. My third older brother, Larry, turned me on to cars and Hot Wheels and motorcycles, and as soon as I saw anything with an engine, it was like, yeah, I got to do that. I started building bicycles, kid going to the Grand National Roadster Show, and started building cars and vans and just a little bit of everything. My first car was a Vega that I was very young and stupid. I bought this car brand new in '76 with my own money from working when I started working about 9 years old. And bought this car and I just ruined it. I didn't have any common sense. 16 years old, hot rodding it and pulling motors out. And we had a place over by Fremont Drag Strip called Little Fremont that we used to go out there and race on Friday and Saturday nights. And I just smashed this thing into a Falcon I was racing that was beating me. He was ahead of me, and boom, I T-boned this thing, and I had to call my father, who was just, he was a tough dude. Dad, I wrecked the car. I got it towed home, and it sat in the garage for like 6 months. During that time, I was very rebellious as a kid. Since you're not gonna let me work on my car, I'm gonna go buy a van. So I was dating this girl at the time, and we bought a '63 Ford van, and I started building that. And then that was when my vans started going crazy. Yeah, one of my favorite cars is I have a Rambler that my grandfather bought brand new in 1960. And he came here from New York and moved to Central Valley. And he bought this car in the 60s, and he traveled back and forth from the Valley to New York probably half a dozen times. And I remember him coming to my house. Well, I was pretty young. I was maybe 8, 9 years old when he had that car. And he'd pick us up. We'd go out to Salinas, Gilroy to pick fruit. And it was just a neat little wagon, a station wagon. And when he passed away, my Uncle Louie ended up with the car. I bought it from Uncle Louie for like $500, about 1997, 98. Brought it home. It was white. My grandfather must have hit a bunch of guardrails. I did all the bodywork on that. We straightened it all out, painted it black. We lowered it, put Americans on it. That was at the time the monochrome thing was going big. Painted bumpers. And it's been all over Orange County. It's been all the shows here. And I took it back to a reunion on my mom's side, my grandfather's son. And when I pulled up with this black Rambler, very Italian family, thought it was so sinister looking, this little wagon, And I had it all slammed in front of the church, and it was cool. It was really, really cool. The worst car I ever owned was the Chevy Cavalier, about 1985, 86. I was married, and we had the 2 kids, Ronnie and Ryan, and I had to have a family car, something that ran all the time. And we bought this darn car. And it was just too normal looking for me. 4-door, tan, and just a stock Cavalier, Chevy Cavalier, the worst thing ever, I have a hobby. I love playing drums. I've been playing drums since I was about 5 or 6. I don't play as often as I like to, but I love to play and escape, everything that's happening in the world, the business and everything else. And just a great place for me to go just disappear and forget about everything. Favorite part of my job here is the customers, the passion that they have for their vehicles being built here. To see it in their eyes when they come in and see their cars and see what's being done here. And and just you can see they just totally lit up. That's my favorite part, when they leave here with the cars that are finished, and they're driving them down the street and hot rodding up and down our street here, and they're so excited. That's my favorite part. The car behind me is a Fiat Topolini. It's a replica of the original Magic Muffler car. It was built by a gentleman by the name of Bill Corbett out of Pasadena. This car is a clone to the second gen Magic Muffler car. And with the help of Jim Miles, who actually owned these cars and drove these cars back then, Jim Miles helped build this chassis, laid it all out in Bill's garage, and they put this car together. And it's such a really super close edition of the original car, right down to the color and the tires, the wheels, even the injection, the interleaf barn door style injection was designed to be mounted off of the front blower type setup. That's why it's upside down. It's usually mounted sideways, and then you can read it correct. Bill Corbett is moving to France. He needed a place to store it. He trusted me. He knows I had a passion for this car because when I met him, I was building a Fiat Topolini altered myself. And we came over to my house. He saw my car, which was an original car that raced back in the 60s. He started this one. Mine never got finished, but he finished his. And he knew I just have a passion for these cars. I love these cars, and I would take care of this car. Everything we do here is my dream project. All these cars that we do here, I'm very passionate about. I'm a very big part of, even though I'm not hands-on all the time, but in decision making, and they're all my dream projects. They're all like babies to me. Hey, thank you very much for listening to my story. Appreciate it. Have a great day.